Welcome to Five Fires YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about the cost of Splash Mountain reimagining into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So, how much did it cost? I've been curious myself with all the budget cutting happening throughout Disney parks. This is a really big topic of conversation in my point because it seemed like this project, they had no boundary when it came down to budget. They were going full force, using the best animatronics possible, creating the best storyline and backstory and all sorts of crazy stuff that they put into this ride to come to life. So I was really curious about the cost because that's very interesting. Did one cost more than the other? Did one of these infrastructures need more help than the other? Because these Splash Mountains are kind of old. All right, let's get into it. This is from Forbes.com. The cost of converting Disney Splash Mountain. I haven't proofread this, so this will be like a first time reading all of this as we go through this article. Few of Disney theme park rides have been more controversial than Splash Mountain. The update to it could also be one of the most costly despite being a basic log flume. Splash Mountain first opened in Disneyland 1989 and quickly became a fan favorite until the log flumes had typically been simple structure that looked like scaffolding. One of the site's steel structures supported a water channel which the boat climbed up, and when it reached the top, it plummeted down the channel on the other. Splash Mountain changed the game as it had a network of water channels which were set inside a soaring cartoony tree stump. Known in the theme park industry as a weenie because they could be seen from afar, the tree stump drew crowds to the ride where it... What? Who the heck called Splash Mountain weenie? The hell? I had to take a stop there. Crowds to the ride were its cute characters and catchy zippity doo dah tune stuck in their minds long after they had been drenched by the final drop. The logs climbed up inside an old barn, and then I don't even think we need to read this part. Yes, we get it. Very awesome animatronics, catchy tune, cartoony, we get it. It was one of Disney's first ride to combine this kind of immersion with high thrills, which came at the crescendo with two vultures wearing top hat anonymously overlooked a 52.5 feet fall into an artificial briar patch. The ride was so successful that it was cloned at Tokyo Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World in Orlando. It stood the test of time because it was already retro when it opened, and this ultimately led to its downfall. Its cast of kid-friendly characters belied a darker background as the ride was inspired by 1946 movie Song of the South, which is set after Civil War and has been criticized for its racist depiction of black people. In 2020, 2020, Disney's chief Bob Iger said that the film would not be available to purchase or stream on Disney Plus platform, and added that Song of the South, even with the disclaimer, it was just not appropriate in today's world. Removing the ride based on the movie was not as simple as that, but push came to shove in 2020 as the peak of the Black Lives Matter movement. After weeks of civil rights protests and petitions calling on Disney to change the ride, it announced the end of Splash Mountain at its parks in the United States, and it claimed it had actually been planning this since 2019. To make it clear that it had drawn a line under the ride's source material, Disney revealed that the new version would be based on the 2009 animated hit Princess and the Frog, which featured its first black princess. Here we got the final scene of the ride. Set in New Orleans during the 1920s, The Princess and the Frogs tells the story of a hardworking waitress named Tiana, whose dream of opening her own restaurant after kissing Prince Naveen, who has been turned into a frog by an evil voodoo witch called Dr. Facilier, which they don't even want to bring up Dr. Facilier. Tiana becomes a frog as well and must find a way to turn them both back into humans. The announcement of the update to the ride was accompanied by a lush concept art showing that the old tree stump at the top of the attraction would be replaced with a huge weeping willow sitting on a mossy outcrop. Fittingly, it was renamed Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but long before anyone had stepped through its turnstile, it already had disenchanted thousands of fans. This is getting juicy right here. After the construction walls came down around Splash Mountain in Orlando and California, it became clear that spectacular centerpiece tree in the concept art had been scrapped. Instead, the attraction looked like a mound of moss, and fans didn't have to wait long to find out what was inside. In a sea change to its usual approach, Disney released a full first-person point of view ride-through of the attraction a month before it officially opened. As we reported, it was one of the biggest own goals ever scored by Disney theme park publicity team, as the video was deluged with negative feedback. And at the time of this writing, it has been viewed over 804,000 times, but only has 11,000 likes. There's a good reason for it. I'm curious. We got to check this out. I'm really curious myself. What is, this article is talking about the likes and dislikes. It has 811,000 views, 45,000 dislikes to 11 up likes. Holy macaroni. Wow. That's a pretty hard ratio right there. There's good reason for this. The video highlighted the confusing premise of the ride, which seen Tiana's opening her own kitchen and transforming a local salt mine into a garden growing vegetables for it. To thank her friends and family for their support, Tiana throws a party during Mardi Gras season, but finds that she is missing the ingredient of music. The riders step into the logs on a journey through the bayou to find it. Even by theme park ride standard, it's bizarre. But that's just the start. Where's this article going? Damn. I feel like there's some negativity coming out of this. Disney's theme park rides are designed by its Imagineer, whose names come from their imaginative use of engineering. Their creative approach spans a wide range of disciplines, and they even wrote five new songs for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. However, replacing Zippity Doo Dah was far from child's play, as it's won 1947 Academy Award, the best original song in the Song of the South. It came across loud and clear in this ride video that the new music failed to hit a high note. This is crazy. I'm guessing that's talking about Special Spice, right? That's the finale song. Making matters worse, the video was filmed without a live audience reacting to the ride. Like laugh track for sitcom, it can make all the difference. Indeed, a mediocre ride can seem like a must-do if the riders are screaming and having fun in the videos of it. The dark clouds hanging over the bayou haven't cleared since the ride opened late last month, and it's been beset with breakdowns, leading to waves of angry posts from fans and social media. Not even just that, the whole concept of virtual queue for its opening, and they're still keeping to that virtual queue. And there's been lots of days at Magic Kingdom that virtual queues last to 5 p.m. They're not selling out. They're not disappearing. And the queue's kind of empty sometimes when it should just make it standby. People want to ride the ride. They want to ride the ride instead of being stuck to virtual queue and, you know what I mean, having to go through that whole process and all that. It's just, I don't know. It's not fun. The reputational damage of this debacle is incalculable, and that alone could make it one of the most costly theme park rides in Disney history. Some might put the criticism down to anti-woke activists, but there's little doubt that the ride compares poorly to its predecessor, as the video shows. Well, this ride had an incredible mountain to climb of Splash Mountain. It could have been here forever, as people love that ride, but I get what's happening. I get the reasons why Disney's doing things, and they're essentially building for the future, so I get it. It's hard to match Splash Mountain. It really is. Embarrassingly for Disney, the original Splash Mountain lives in Tokyo Disneyland. The logic behind this is that the offensive origin of the underlying story has less relevance to the local audience in Japan. And they really built it into bear country over there, where it's all about bears. So it kind of goes more into the land than, I guess you could say, Splash alone. However, Tokyo Disney also happens to be the only Disney branded resort which isn't owned or operated by the media giant. Disney simply provides the license to specialist leisure operator Oriental Land Company, which runs the resort. Presumably, if Oriental Land Company believed that the update to Splash Mountain would benefit its business, it would have given it the green light, regardless of whether or not the original subject matter was offensive to the local audience. On reflection, a more logical subject for the update might have been 2017 Oscar winner Moana. The tree stump has similar shape to the volcano in the movie, which is themed to water so suits a log flume. It also has more well-known tunes than Princess and the Frog. I'm going to argue that Princess and the Frog has incredible music, but Disney didn't want to adapt all of its incredible music from that original movie. They wanted to do originals. It also has more well-known tunes than Princess and the Frog and features a princess of colors, so would tick the diversity box too. I still feel Moana needs her own ride, brand new technology, just has nothing to do with the original landscape of the parks, and it's just an addition instead of reimagining. I'm a big believer of that. Keep expanding the parks, not keep reimagining. It's too late for that now, regardless of the reason for fans criticizing the new version of the ride. Negative publicity is damaging for Disney heading in a summer season, which has been very, very low crowded in Walt Disney World. And honestly, it's been kind of low crowded here at Disneyland too. Really weird how the crowd situation is happening. But you know what? I enjoy the low crowds. As a local, I got my magic key, the highest one, so I could go right now. I enjoy the low crowds, so I ain't even complaining. In fact, it couldn't have come at a much worse time. In May, Disney Chief Financial Officer Hugh Johnston warned that its result for the 3 months to end of June will show an attendance drop in its theme parks due to a global moderation from peak post-pandemic travel. It doesn't stop there. In recent weeks, there have been widespread reports about thin crowds. Oh, it's going to go into this. Thin crowds at Walt Disney World, with WDW Magic reporting that even the morning of July 4, most attractions had a time of less than an hour, with none above 100 minutes. Dude, I reported on this July 5th. I was all up on this. I'm seeing it. I could see this happening in real time. It was a stark contrast to previous year where queues for headline attractions were all 3 to 4 hours long. By midday, and the parks were closed because they reached capacity. Everybody wants to see 4th of July at Walt Disney World. But it's not just Walt Disney World. All the parks are struggling over there in Florida. Another industry expert, that Park Place, added that its contributor, La Reina Creole, was taken aback by the low crowds in Magic Kingdom on July 3rd and the 4th. The crowd levels are definitely much lower than they used to be for the 4th, she said. You know, I take this as a win for the fans, the people going to the parks. Hey, we could do more rides. We could just do more low crowds. The only one that benefits of crowded is Disney, especially with the high prices going on right now. There is no suggestion that poor reception to Tiana's Bayou Adventure caused visitors' numbers to crash, but there is also no doubt that it didn't help matters. Bad publicity wasn't the only price Disney had to pay. I'm one of those people. I would have been all over it if Tiana's Bayou Adventure was just this mind-blowing experience and essentially what we got at Fantasy Springs. I want to travel to that. I want to see all that. Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the way I looked at it, it was just not enough. And in regards to the breakdowns they were having, evacuations, I don't want to travel to that. I don't want to travel to the opening or opening month of that, especially when the heat. No, thank you. heat and humidity in Florida is at the absolute worst right now. And then to go to a ride that I might not even get a virtual queue. You know, at the time we didn't know it was going to be empty, but I might not get a virtual queue. I might not even be able to buy a lightning lane for Tiana's. So all these variables, I'm not planning a trip there, at least at this time. Maybe later in the year, but at this time, no way. And one thing about summer crowds being lower right now, these decisions of all these guests and families were made 6 months ago, a year ago, to say, we're not going to Disney this year. We're not going to Disney this summer. Those decisions were made a long time ago, not even involving Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That was irrelevant to them traveling. Because a lot of people, they're just not seeing it fitting to travel to Walt Disney World with the price tags. It's just what's happening. These decisions were made a long time ago. Disney doesn't officially disclose the cost of individual attractions, so the amount it's spent for Tiana's Bayou Adventure remains a closely guarded secret. That's what I'm here for this article. Please talk about that, Forbes. It has left fans without an indication of how much it costs Disney to update a flagship ride like this until now. What? Until now? The evidence comes straight from the horse's mouth. As we recently revealed, the superhero-themed Avenger Campus that opened in 2022 at Disneyland Paris cost precisely $404 million to build, according to Davis, the land's design manager. What? $404 million? Oh my Lanta. Remarkably, the Imagineer revealed the sum in a post on a LinkedIn, and mindful of that fact that he may delete his indiscretion once it's reported. We took a screenshot of his page. Lo and behold, once our piece was published, the Avenger Campus budget mysteriously disappeared from his LinkedIn page, but the original can still be seen. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but wasn't just loose-lipped about the budget of Avenger Campus, but many other attractions at Disneyland Paris. So we took screen grabs of them too. One was the update to Star Tours, Disney Classic Star Wars Simulator. This debuted in Disneyland 1987, and it put riders in the middle of a battle with Darth Vader Evil Empire when their space tourism ship goes astray. Right from the start, the ride was designed to show different scenes, but this feature didn't debut until 2011 at Disneyland and Disney World. September 2014, Imagineering show design and production Bajorn revealed to us that this update was coming to Disneyland Paris too. It was officially announced in June the following year and finally opened in 2017. That's crazy that it like took that long to make it like a multi-destination kind of thing for Star Tours. It saw the addition of high-definition 3D screen, Dolby surround sound, and new audio animatronic of iconic Star Wars character C-3PO, and crucially a wide array of new scenes which can be played in random order, giving the ride more than 250 variations. The footage features, okay, we won't go into that. It took a year to upgrade the ride compared to 17 months. It took a year to upgrade the ride compared to 17 months for the transformation of Splash Mountain. Unlike Star Tours, the transformation into Tiana's Bayou Adventure required extensive labor-intensive updates to the decor as well as the creation of new sets, 48 audio animatronics, and the 5 new songs. Several screens also show bespoke new computer-generated imagery, though admittedly isn't anywhere near as extensive as the new footage for Star Tours, which was the focus of its upgrade. The manpower required to develop and install the new decor and audio animatronics compensates for the lack of CGI. Combined with 7 years of inflation, it should put the upgrade budgets for both attractions at approximately a similar level, according to, I can't pronounce his name, that came to $71 million, as can be seen here. It would put the total spent on Tiana's Bayou Adventure over the past 4 years at $142 million, making it back could take a lot longer than that. Whoa. There it is. That's kind of, I guess, the mic drop of this article. So $142 million was spent on these rides. You know, 142 million. That's a lot of money. We are in 2024 where things are just so much higher in regards to inflation and just cost of labor, cost of construction companies, good construction companies. Um, it doesn't surprise me that it costs something like that, 71 million. I don't doubt that like it's way above a 71 million. That might be like a modest thing. Just because we know how much is happening, we could see visually how much work is being done on Tiana's Bayou Adventure on the outside. I could just imagine the inside under a splash mountain. You know, all the water causes damage, especially over like years of 30 years, 30 plus years. Yeah, water is wrecking havoc on a splash mountain, on a Tiana's Bayou Adventure now. So the infrastructure alone, I could just imagine the labor and cost that went into that. The stuff underneath, just to upkeep the ride. And we know Splash Mountains weren't maintenance very well, weren't upkeep very well, at least here in the United States. I don't know about Tokyo, but 71 million. So 142 million. What do you think? Is it worth it? Was this a smart investment? Should they have just put 71 million into a brand new Tiana's Bayou Adventure, an expansion of Tiana? Give her a land? Is this a good idea? I'm just curious. What do you guys think? I'm still very excited for our Tiana's Bayou Adventure to open at Disneyland. We still have no dates. It's still looking like a dirt field out there in Critter Country. A lot of exposed areas. And holes into the ride. Like, things are nowhere near done right now for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I know that they've been testing kind of with like the water dummies and stuff like that, but nothing's getting serious just yet. So hopefully soon. I have a feeling, and I've said this before, I have a feeling Tiana's Bayou Adventure was built for Disneyland, and they just kind of copied and pasted and hope it works in Walt Disney World. Because, you know, all the reportings and all the people that have gone on that ride say that there's a lot of dead spaces throughout the ride, and it's kind of weird. Guess what? We have a more tight Splash Mountain at Disneyland. Those dead spaces are probably not going to feel like that. At least that's my assumption. And as long as we have that big-ass drop, our Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to be an incredible ride no matter what, because it's hot out here. We need this ride so we need this ride so dearly right now. Hot peak summertime. Man, I wish I could get on a Tiana's Bayou Adventure right now. Well, let me know what you guys think. Was this 71 million per ride, so 142 million worth it for Disneyland and Walt Disney World's future? I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching Five Fires YouTube. Smash that like button. We're firing it down.